It's now time for the Reaver Sports full game recap. We go all the way back February 29th of the year 2024 when the Nashville Predators were facing off against the Minnesota Wild at Bridgestone Arena. And as the winning streak is ongoing, head coach Andrew Brunette deploys his lines in a very familiar way. Forsberg, O'Reilly, and Nyquist, Trennan, Sissons, and Glass, Jankowski, Novak, Evangelista, Smith, McCarron, and Sherwood. Your defensive pairings are Yossi and Fabro, McDonough and Chen, Luzon and Carrier. UC Saros gets the start in net. We are just 20 seconds into the game at Bridgestone Arena, and Gustafsson comes up with a save on Michael McCarron. It's the first shot on goal of the game at the 49-second mark of the period. Gustafsson comes up with a save on Philip Forsberg. Teams play back and forth between the circles for a few minutes, and we find ourselves all the way at the 5:15 mark of the first period when Gustafsson comes up with another save on Tommy Novak. UC Saros clocks into the game at the 5:31 mark of the first period, coming up with a save on Merrill. After all, UC Saros did not make a save in the final 20 minutes of the last game that he played. Now, the first 5.5 minutes of this game, so 25.5 minutes without facing a shot, he makes the save. 6:46 of the first period, UC Saros coming up with a save on Boldy. Now, 7:25, Saros is dialed into this game as he comes up with a save on Duhaime at the 8:20 mark of the first period. It's Gustafsson coming with a save on O'Reilly, plus the follow-up by Philip Forsberg at the 9:30 mark of the first period. It's Gustafsson coming with a save on Luke Evangelista, plus the follow-up by Tommy Novak, plus the follow-up by Luke Evangelista, and he just misses the rebound opportunity. Followed the play in, followed his own shot. Good opportunity right there. Unable to get it for the Nashville Predators. At the 9:51 mark, it's just 21 seconds later, and a play that looks very familiar to what we were just describing. Dewar picks up his 9th goal of the season. 3 Preds miss the rebound clearing opportunity. It bounces out to the high slot area, and that's where Dewar puts it back into the net. His 9th of the season puts Minnesota on the board first in this game with a 1-0 lead over the Nashville Predators. But at 10:40, so just in the next minute of play, Trennan comes up with his 10th goal of the season. The net front redirect. Yossi did the work, carried the puck in down low, went along the goal line, and then set up Trennan perfectly right in front of the net at the blue paint for his 10th goal of the season. The Nashville Predators tied this game up at 1 apiece, not even a minute after Minnesota gets on the board, but only 8 seconds after that, it's going to be Cole Smith at 10:48 of the first with his 8th goal of the season. Right off the faceoff, goes into the offensive zone and outworks 3 defenders and finishes in close range with the jam. An incredible individual effort by Cole Smith in this particular situation. His 8th goal of the season puts the Predators on top for the first time in this game, now leading 2-1. 13:43 of the first period. It's Gustafsson coming with a save on Luke Evangelista at the 14:21 mark of the first period. It's UC Saros coming with a save on Rossi at the 18:30 mark of the first. Saros a save on Brodin at 19:24. Gustafsson a save on Glass. That would do it for the first period. Slow feeling out process. Minnesota gets on the board first. Nashville responds immediately with 2. And at the end of the first period, it's 2-1 in favor of Nashville with the Preds out shooting the Wild 13-7. We hit the clean sheet in the second period for the second 20 minutes of regulation hockey, and at 2:35 of the second period, UC Saros coming up with a save on Johansson. 2:45, Saros comes up with a save on Zuccarello. We go all the way to 5:28. We find Saros coming up with a save on Eriksson Ek. 5:39, Saros a save on Kaprizov. Obviously, the Minnesota Wild have come out strong here in the first 5 minutes of the second period. But at the 5:42 mark, we find Bogosian and O'Reilly each off the box. 2 minutes for roughing, 4-on-4. We saw quite a bit of scrums as this game transgressed from the first period to the second period, and it would continue on that way. So during this 4-on-4, it would be Johansson off the box. 2 minutes for hooking, putting the Nashville Predators on the rare 4-on-3 power play. Gustafsson comes a save on Forsberg, and then a save on Yossi, and then another save on Forsberg before the end of the Nashville Predators power play. Back to 5-on-5 hockey, but only for a brief time because at 9:35 of the second period, it's Carey off the box, 2 minutes for holding. The Nashville Predators put up an absolutely outstanding penalty kill display right here, not giving up a single shot on goal against. We hit the 12-12 mark of the second period, and it's Gustafsson coming up with a save on Tommy Novak, the 12:49 mark of the second period. Zuccarello, McCarron off to the box, 2 minutes each, different penalties, roughing and unsportsmanlike right here. The continued scrums after the whistle. 14:09, it breaks into a full-on fight. Luzon and Middleton with a 5-minute each penalty, and it would be Luzon getting bloodied by Middleton in this exchange. At 14:52 of the second period, Forsberg's off to the box, 2 minutes for slashing, and the Nashville Predators once again, just an absolutely outstanding penalty kill for the second time in this period, not giving up a single shot on goal against. At the 17:23 mark of the second period, Lucine's off to the box. 2 minutes for interference, putting the Nashville Predators back on the power play for the first time in quite some time. And it's going to be Philip Forsberg cashing in. This wrist shot had some good power behind it, because when it does ricochet off a leg, that's one hell of a ricochet. Finds its way into the net for Philip Forsberg's 29th goal of the season. It comes on the power play, and it puts the Nashville Predators now up 3-1 in this game after being down 1-0 in the first period. So February coming to a close on the 29th of February with Philip Forsberg's 29th goal on the season. At the 18:56 mark of the second period, UC Saros coming up with a save on Rossi. At the 19:07 mark of the second period, it's UC Saros again coming up with another save on Rossi. With the end of the second period, the Nashville Predators are out shooting the Minnesota Wild 19-17, but the Wild have certainly picked it up there. 10 shots on goal in the second period. UC Saros had to remain strong. 1:06 into the third period. It's Gustafsson coming up with a save on Carey at the 1:32 mark of the third period. It is the captain, Roman Josi. He's having another one of those everything games. This time his 15th goal of the season comes off of a drive to the net, but then he delays, holds, pulls off to the side for a sharper angle, and snipes. An even more difficult shot to complete, but the captain, Roman Josi, was looking for that space, and he got it as he froze Gustafsson. Josi's 15th of the season puts the Nashville Predators on top 4-1 here early in the third period. At the 2:07 mark of the third period, it's Gustafsson off to the box, or Gustafsson coming up with a save on Shen. It's Carrier off to the box just after that. At 3:16 of the third period, he's off to the box, 2 minutes for holding, and UC Saros, one of his best exchanges of the entire game, comes up with a save on Rossi. Not one time, not two times, but 3 times in 7 seconds total. UC Saros doing the work. UC Saros then would come up with a save on Boldy before the end of the power play. So while the Nashville Predators did not give up a shot on goal on the previous 2, they did give up some good scoring chances to Minnesota. In this one, UC Saros had to be incredibly strong. At the 5:20 mark of the third, Saros comes up with a save on Brodin. 6:01, Gustafsson a save on Shen. 7:03 of the third, Saros a save on Gaudreau. The 8:03 mark of the third period, it is O'Reilly getting his 21st goal of the season, putting the Nashville Predators up 5-1. Gus Nyquist was down low, close to the blue paint, but he sees O'Reilly coming down the slot, crashing hard, decides to set him up with a perfect pass. O'Reilly finishes that one from just a few feet away, crashing the slot, going to the hard areas and getting rewarded. 5-1 now in favor of the Nashville Predators. At the 8:52 mark of the third period, UC Saros coming with a save on Kaprizov. At 9:36 of the third period, Gustafsson comes with a save on Mark Jankowski. Halfway through the third period, at the 10:02 mark, it's Saros coming with a save on Zach Bogosian. At the 12:07 mark of the third period, Saros comes with another save on Kaprizov. 13:06, Gustafsson a save on Luke Evangelista's breakaway. Luke Evangelista got some separation and got absolutely robbed by Gustafsson in this particular situation. At 13:57 mark of the third, it's Ryan McDonough with his third goal of the season. It was a high slot finish. Luke Evangelista set the play up from down low by the goal line, finding McDonough wide open in the middle of the ice at medium range to convert for his third goal of the season, making it 6-1 in favor of the Nashville Predators. 17:26 mark of the third period, UC Saros comes with a save on Freddie Gaudreau. At the 18:15 mark of the third period, UC Saros comes with the save on Hartman, and the former Nashville Predators parade continues, because in 19:52 of the third period, UC Saros comes up with his final save of the game, and it is again on Hartman. The Nashville Predators would go on to win this game 6-1. Minnesota would outshoot Nashville 34-31 overall in this game. And for the Nashville Predators, first of all, it's the first time they've fallen behind at the beginning of a game in quite some time. They responded immediately and quickly with 2 goals in the first period after Minnesota got up by 1. If you remember and recall, we talked about it quite a bit when we previewed this game. The last time the Nashville Predators had a 6-game road trip, they came home and they faced off against Minnesota Wild. They lost by a score of 6-1. We talked about how embarrassing that was. Now the Nashville Predators in a wild card situation right here, having a chance to push Minnesota further back in the race. The Nashville Predators on a 6-game win streak, this time defeat the Minnesota Wild 6-1 on home ice to put themselves in a much better spot in the wild card. So for the Nashville Predators, these were 2 critical, important points, and they picked them up at home ice. They keep the winning streak going to 7, and now we move on to the next game on the homestand against the Colorado Avalanche, a 3-5. That's going to do it for the Reverse Sports full game recap. We've got analysis, box score, and so much more coming up next right here on the Renegades of Puck podcast.